Hi there, today we're going to talk about how your home air conditioning system works. I'm Joe Kilcup with Legacy Heating and Cooling. I am the retro installation manager. I've been doing this for about 25 years in an industrial, commercial, and residential aspect. The first thing I like to start off with air conditioning is just talk about what exactly are we accomplishing inside your house. So a lot of people think of air conditioning as adding cooling to your home because that's where we feel the air coming out of the vents. What we're actually doing is removing heat from your home. So the whole idea behind air conditioning or cooling is taking heat from an area where we don't want it inside your home and moving it into an area where it doesn't matter, which would be outside. So the first component that we'll talk about is the component that gets installed on top of your furnace. This guy here is called the evaporator coil. So this is the component that's actually removing the heat from your house, and we're transferring that heat into refrigerant lines here. These refrigerant lines are then going to take the heat outside into a condensing unit, which is the unit that sits outside right here. So what we have here is a side discharge unit made by GE. As you can see, it's quite sleek. It fits in any spaces beside any home in any application. They're very, very quiet units. And so what we're doing is we're taking the heat and we're bringing it into this unit outside here. And then this unit is simply getting rid of the heat through this fan out the front of it here. And then we're gonna cycle the refrigerant back into the home again through the return line, where it's gonna continue taking more heat from the home, dumping the heat outside with using the condensing coil. And it's gonna keep repeating this process until the temperature of your house comes down, and then the system shuts off. Okay, so that covers the evaporator coil, or the indoor portion, and how it relates to the outdoor portion over here. I'll talk about the furnace briefly for a second, because it's important to note when you're running air conditioning or cooling in your home, we're only dealing with the electrical component of your furnace. So of course, we all know our furnaces consume gas and electricity, but when we're talking about the cooling side of things, we're only using the blower fan of the furnace, which takes 120 volts of electricity, and we are using the condensing unit outside, which takes 240 volts of electricity. So now that we understand that the entire air conditioning system runs on electricity only, it's important to understand what's going on in our electrical box to make sure we have the capacity to do so. Over here we have a typical electrical panel that you might see in the basement of your home. What we're looking for is to make sure that we have available slots within your electrical panel, because we are adding 240 volts worth of power to power the air conditioning system. So this is going to be similar to the amount of power that your stove takes at home, or the amount of power that your dryer uses, which is going to be 2 breaker spots, as you see right here. So we're going to look for 2 free spots in your home. Of course, if you don't have any available spots in your home, we do have solutions in terms of sub panels or load management systems that can help us deal with those obstacles as well. Now that we understand how the components of the air conditioning system work and how we energize those components, we can look at a couple of options on accessories to add on to your air conditioning system that may improve your air quality, make things last a little bit longer, and a few care and maintenance tips as well. The first one I want to start off with, obviously, is going to be regular filter replacements. If you live in a 2-story home, for example, we know that cold air likes to fall down into the basement. So we like to set our fan speed on our furnace at the highest setting to help push that cold air up to the top floors where we want it, typically where the bedrooms are, so we get a good night's sleep. Because the fan is running on such a high speed, air filtration and air movement becomes ever so important. So keeping a clean filter in your home is going to allow the air to move freely and prevent any freeze-ups or mechanical failures of your air conditioning system, because they are very sensitive to airflow. Moving on to a little more in-depth look at the maintenance and the accessories that you can have with your air conditioning system. One of the main things we want to focus on, of course, is your outdoor unit. You do want to take a hose to it every once in a while. Something low pressure so you don't damage the fins of the unit. But we're also heavily dependent on airflow here as well, so we want to make sure that the coils around the unit are kept clean, and you can certainly do that with a low pressure garden hose. You might want to do that before every air conditioning season, once or twice, or depending on the dust level in your neighborhood. Perhaps if you're in a newer neighborhood, you're going to see more dust, so you may want to just monitor it and clean it more often, or you can have a professional like us come out and do that for you as a part of our regular preventative maintenance. The other component that we're looking at keeping clean is going to be the indoor coil inside your house. So obviously, from just your average indoor contaminants, it's important to understand that this coil is in a dark environment. Because we have warm air meeting cold air inside of the coil, we're going to get some condensation, and that condensation is going to go out through a drain right here. But the whole point of this is the fact that the coil is going to remain wet in a dark environment and is going to stand a very good chance of producing molds, bacteria, and things that can stick on the coil. So if you're very sensitive to these types of contaminants, then it's going to be important to have this coil cleaned on a regular basis. Now, coil cleaning is not the easiest process. It can really add on to the bill of your regular home duct cleaning. It does involve people that may not be professionals with air conditioning coils cleaning them. So one of the things we do recommend to keep your coil clean is a UV light. So it's an accessory that we always recommend going in with your air conditioning system. And what UV does is it kills mold and bacteria. And basically it's like shining sunshine down over top of that coil. So this gets inserted into the ductwork. The light shines down over the coil and keeps it free of mold and bacteria as long as the light is operating. You're going to want to replace these lights approximately once every year, and that's probably one of the most important things you can do to protect the air quality in your house while you're cooling it at the same time. So now I'd like to talk about why some of our customers decide to put air conditioning into their homes. And I think one of the most prevalent reasons of why people are putting air conditioning into their home, number one is comfort. Our home is our sanctuary. We want it to be as comfortable as possible. That would be the number one reason why people are putting air conditioning in their homes, just for the relief on the hot summer days, also to help with the humidity levels as well. But we're finding more and more as time goes on that the wildfire season seems to be the new normal now. So in the past where people got away without using air conditioners, they might have opened up some windows, let the air flow through their house, which was great. But if you happen to be sensitive to the contaminants in the air over the past couple of years and lately, you might be looking at closing up your windows and not getting that draft through the house or that kind of relief. So certainly adding air conditioning into your home and a good filtration system will allow you to have that cool, comfortable environment in your house and keep the air healthy for yourself and your family at the same time. So customers are selecting Legacy Heating and Cooling for their air conditioning installation needs on a number of fronts. Number one, we have a fantastic 12-year parts and labor warranty on most of our air conditioning systems, which is as high as a warranty as you're going to find in the industry. Another reason is there's many components that go with an air conditioning system that don't need to be installed with your air conditioning system, but are highly recommended to get the best life out of your system. So we often see these shortcuts out with other companies that we're competing against. We see a lot of shortcuts where they delete certain components, they bring that price down, they make it more attractive for somebody in the buying stages of their system. But then the reality hits them within 5-8 years when that system's not working properly anymore because the components necessary to keep it running for a long time were not there. So you can trust Legacy Heating and Cooling that we're always going to be using the proper components, the highest quality components, certified and qualified installers. We do not use any subcontractors, and we just want to make sure that you're going to have hassle-free, worry-free air conditioning for as long as that system is going to last. Legacy Heating and Cooling has 2 locations. We are serving the Edmonton and surrounding areas, including Calgary and surrounding areas. We can be reached at 780-733-1256, and the link to our website will be in this video. Thanks for watching our video. We'll see you next time.